evening, everyone, and welcome to this special City Council meeting on Wednesday, April 16th. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Council President Miller.
Present.
Deputy Majority Whip Anderbois.
Present.
Councilwoman Anthony.
Present.
Majority Leader Espinal.
Present.
Senior Deputy Majority Leader Gonsalves.
Present.
Councilwoman Graves.
Present.
Deputy Majority Leader Harris.
Present.
Councilwoman Peterson.
Present.
Council President Pro Tempore Pichardo.
Present.
Councilor Royas is absent. Councilwoman Ryan.
Present.
Majority Whip Sanchez. Councilman Taylor.
Present.
Councilwoman Ana Vargas is absent. Councilman Oscar Vargas.
Present.
You have 13 present and 2 absent. You have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Madam President,
Majority Leader.
motion to waive the invocation.
Second, Madam President.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes. I now would like to ask all of our guests to rise, as well as our counselors, for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by President Pro Tem Pichardo.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Madam President,
Majority Leader.
motion to waive the reading of item 1 and 2.
Second, Madam President.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes. At this point, I'm sorry? And please note as received, Madam Clerk.
Thank you.
At this point, I would like to send several counselors to the second floor, and I would ask that the council stand at ease. Majority Leader Espinal, Councilwoman Peterson, Councilwoman Ryan, and Councilwoman Anderwall, will you please accompany Mayor Smiley to our chambers?
Well, good evening, everybody. Madam Council President, honorable members of the City Council, Congressman Magaziner, state representatives and senators, department directors, community partners, and fellow neighbors of our great city of Providence. I'm so pleased to be with you here this evening to present my proposed budget for the upcoming fiscal year. When I took office 2 years ago, I made a promise to our neighbors that we would get back to the basics by providing excellent city services, supporting our small business community, building new homes, making our neighborhoods safer, and investing in our schools. We quickly laid the foundation for the world-class city we all knew Providence could be. But tonight, I know that many of us in this room and our neighbors watching from home are feeling an increased sense of anxiety at the actions that we're seeing at the national level. From political uncertainty in Washington to the ever-rising costs of rent, utilities, and groceries here at home, our community has been forced to navigate new obstacles that make affording the everyday essentials of life We're going to talk about the rent tonight. And I know, like all of you, I am proud to still be in a city where we can welcome diverse and sometimes objection voices in our community. I welcome this debate, and we will always allow multiple voices in this House and in this chamber. And so, like many household budgets, this year's city budget was exceptionally difficult to manage. As many of you know, last year's settlement with the Rhode Island Department of Education, the city needed to solve a generation of underfunding to the Providence Public School District in just one budget year. We knew that this substantial financial challenge could not be resolved without increased revenue. We worked hard to make sure that this burden will not fall solely on the backs of our taxpayers and would not require us drastically cutting city services that our neighbors rely on. Here in City Hall, we implemented a hiring freeze. We made essential spending cuts in nearly every department, all the while still ensuring that we were still able to provide high-quality city services. Because we know that in this moment, the work of local government is more important than ever. Today, I stand with a renewed sense of commitment and hope for Providence's future. With input from our neighbors, we developed a solution that is not solely reliant on raising taxes, but instead focuses on raising new revenues and responsible cuts to the city's budget. We are building a Providence that is safer, stronger, and more responsive to the evolving needs of our community. We continue to prioritize the day-to-day city services that our neighbors rely on, and we're making thoughtful investments to elevate and modernize how we deliver city services here at City Hall and throughout the city. We remain committed to meaningfully improving the quality of life for our entire community. And so in addition to saving taxpayers' money by reducing our workforce, we have a lot to be proud of this year. From paving roads in every neighborhood to repairing over 10 miles of sidewalks, we are delivering on our promise to focus on simple quality of life issues. Last year, we filled over 4,000 potholes. And earlier this month, we proposed a new initiative to replace trash and recycling carts across the city to further support our ongoing recycling and waste reduction efforts. In surveys, community meetings, and visits to schools, we listened to the voice of our neighbors. We used your feedback to guide our investments and to shape how we move forward. we are making it faster and easier than ever to access city services. By collaborating across city departments, City Hall has become a center for reliable, high-quality services. From digitizing licenses and systems across departments to launching a completely new PVD 311, to making the fire department completely paper-free, accessing city services has never been easier. And last year, we responsibly invested in long overdue infrastructure repairs and upgrades in every neighborhood. We completed 25 park revitalization projects and have an astonishing 170 currently underway. From Jacqueline Clements to Newtoconakit to Brazel, all the way up to Lippet, we are revitalizing parks across the city. Today, I am proud, because of our investments, that South Providence is home to what is, without a doubt, the best playground in all of Rhode Island, Harriet and Sales. Isn't that right, Councilwoman Harris? That's right. Using input that we got directly from our community, we've made critical upgrades to our recreation centers to better support our rec centers and better provide services and programs for our young people. In the past year, we've built new bleachers, renovated and redesigned gymnasiums, and we will finally be providing air conditioning to these facilities. Also, for the first time last year, we launched a soccer league. The Providence Rec Department Soccer League finally provides free weekly soccer experience to our youth. This past week, we kicked off the newest season. The second season is now underway, and I want to thank the dedicated community partners who are here with us tonight. Joining along with the directors of the Igliozzi and Zuccolo Recreation Centers, Yeleni and Jackie, are Maribel and Francisco from the Guatemalan Soccer League, and Luis Castaños from Pumas FC. If we could give them all a round of applause, ask them to stand for a minute. Come on, there you go. These folks are dedicated to our youth, and we're grateful for it. While the federal government is rolling back environmental protections and making drastic cuts to critical programs aimed to address the impacts of climate change, here in Providence, we are making proactive investments that make our city safer, more sustainable, and less vulnerable to the impacts of extreme weather. As a coastal city, we've seen the deep impacts of climate change, and in response, my administration is making strategic investments in our stormwater management infrastructure, dredging canals, rebuilding the hurricane barrier to prevent flooding. Climate resiliency has become a core component of what the city does to manage its infrastructure. And as a result, we are managing ourselves to be a leader in the green and blue economies. In the years ahead, we will finally be cutting the ribbon on a new Department of Public Works complex that will make it easier for us to make timely infrastructure investments. Here in Providence, we are taking bold actions to address the housing crisis. Like cities across the country, our neighbors are struggling to pay the rent or find an affordable home to buy. Our team has taken a multifaceted approach to support both the immediate and long-term needs of our neighbors. In less than a year, we've adopted new zoning changes to allow for greater density. We've streamlined the review process to dramatically expedite housing development. We've made unprecedented investments in affordable housing initiatives, and we've developed a more accessible online permitting process. Further underscoring the priority that housing holds for my team, we established the Housing and Human Services Office to more effectively meet the interconnected needs of our community. And in the comprehensive plan that you all passed last year, we outlined our strategy to tackle Providence's housing shortage head-on, to promote diverse housing options across the city over the next decade. Indeed, it has never been easier or faster to build housing in the city of Providence. And our expanded efforts are making a difference. We've expanded shelter beds for our unhoused neighbors. We've created or preserved over 1,600 affordable housing units throughout the city. Now, tackling this crisis requires innovative solutions and getting creative with spaces that already exist. So we are transforming historic buildings into housing. We're supporting the conversion of vacant commercial spaces into affordable housing units. And we know that this strategy is working. We see it in examples like the Flynn School. For a decade, this parcel sat blighted and vacant. Today, because of the changes in our comprehensive plan, because of the improvements to our review and approval process, and because of our landmark investments in affordable housing, construction on this site is finally underway. And within a year from today, nearly 200 families in South Providence will be calling the Flynn home. This is an incredible accomplishment and deserves recognition. Let's give a round of applause to the team here that's building the latest, best affordable housing project in the city. Now, as we work to build new homes across the city, it is critical that our neighborhoods feel safe. Each year, our community satisfaction survey has told us that safety is a top priority for residents and businesses. I'm proud to share that our investments in public safety are working. I made a promise 2 years ago to enact strategies to reduce violent crime and return a sense of safety to our neighborhoods. Last year, the Providence Police removed over 300 illegal guns from our streets. We saw a 10% reduction in violent crime, the lowest reported level since the 1990s. This is a testament to our investments to modernize our police force and ensure that there are officers on patrol, on foot or on bike, in every neighborhood. And I want to thank our partners in the Providence City Council for funding the last 3 police academies, enabling us to ensure that our neighborhoods have the staffing that they need to keep our residents safe. These efforts are supported by our investments in proactive initiatives like our community response team. Since their creation during my first year in office, they have largely eliminated the ATV problem, they have seized hundreds of illegal firearms, and they proactively address quality of life crimes in our neighborhoods. With us here tonight are a few members of that team who are working to keep our community safe every day. Can they please stand and be recognized? Now, here in Providence, we recognize that every response does not require a response. Every call does not require a response from an armed officer. That's why we support programs like the Family Service Go Team, our EMS Paired Response Unit, and more recently, our EMS Bicycle Team. Under the leadership of Chief Silva and Chief Kenyon, this program focuses on places where the city is experiencing the highest number of overdoses and behavioral health calls. Staff are on site to provide basic care, overdose prevention supplies, other medical responses without needing an ambulance. This reduces the burden on our rescues and decreases response teams for these critical services. I'm proud to have expanded the hours of the EMS Bike program this last year, and with grant funding that we earned, we are working to make this a national model that can be implemented in other cities across the country. Congratulations to the Providence Fire Department. Now, while we know that our families want safe streets and safe neighborhoods, they also want a public education system that works for them and their children. Our classrooms and the buildings that they're in have failed our students and teachers for too long. And while we may not have oversight of the day-to-day operations of the schools just yet, we know that we can continue to make historic investments in their school spaces so that their students can study in a world-class environment. Last year, we broke ground on 3 new state-of-the-art buildings. The Mary Fogarty, Frank Spaziano, and Harry Kazarian schools will give these students the ability to learn in safe, modern facilities. All 3 of these new schools support our strategy to improve student outcomes by better supporting middle school students in particular through the pre-K through 8 model. For 2 years, we have been listening to the feedback of our teachers, students, family, and community members, and their message has been clear. It is time for the Providence Public School District to return to local management. That is why this budget includes the largest investment in our schools since 2006, making up for a generation of underfunding in just 1 fiscal year. In the past year, we've talked to the community, parents, teachers, partners, and most importantly, our youth. We've heard from them. They are frustrated with the status quo. They are frustrated that still too many kids are slipping through the cracks. And this is unacceptable. We compiled what we heard. We conducted a thorough internal review to take stock of what we can do to improve conditions for our kids as the states still run our schools. And so last week we released our multi-pronged action plan to thoughtfully and successfully make that transition. We are ready to take back the schools and give the Providence students the world-class education that they deserve. When I stepped into office 2 years ago, some of our largest tax-exempt institutions were not contributing a dime to our city. Today, for the first time in Providence's history, we have signed payment in lieu of taxes agreements with every major tax-exempt institution in our city. While I know that many residents are frustrated that we cannot send these federally tax-exempt institutions a tax bill like we all get at home, I am proud that we have secured some of the most generous payments in the country. And we've prioritized informed, responsible financial management for the city to position us for long-term growth and ensure that every dollar is spent effectively. In recognition of that work, last year, Fitch Ratings upgraded the city's GO bond rating to an A+. And so tonight I am proposing a balanced, responsible budget that, while financially constrained, will continue to build on this momentum. With the federal government rolling back grant funding, the fiscal impact of the conversion of the Roger Williams Medical Center, the requirement to fix a decade of underfunding to the school district in just 1 year, and the expiration of the ARPA dollars, we faced a significant financial challenge this year, and it put many important services at risk. In order to fully fund our schools, meet our employee obligations, and continue to provide city services, we had to make sacrifices. And we were faced with difficult decisions. Difficult decisions like reducing trash removal frequency, cutting summer programs, eliminating the support for festivals and events in the city that we all love. But I am proud to share that the budget I am proposing tonight is balanced and has avoided these drastic cuts that our city and community depends on. Instead, we are proposing a budget that prioritizes new revenues, not from property taxes, responsibly cuts city costs without impacting services, and only modestly increases the property tax bills for our neighbors. To get there, we started by making serious reductions. After a thorough review of our finances, we reduced operating and supply expenses in nearly every department. We removed 23 positions, which saved us over $1 million, and we will be freezing COLAs for the city's highest earning employees. Notwithstanding our increase to the schools, we reduced total expenses by $9 million. As a result, we were able to lower the tax increase we feared was necessary to the lowest responsible rate. For our residents that own their own single-family home, your tax bills will only be going up 4%. And for those homeowners, that's an average increase of $13 a month. And while it took hard work to get rates this low, we know that any increase will be difficult for our residents. We know that valuations went up across the city. Many people's homes are worth significantly more than they were 10 years ago, and this causes their bills to go up. Despite these valuation increases, we had a revenue gap we had to close. In spite of it all, we were able to cut tax rates across all property types. As we crafted this budget, I've been in the community listening. I've been with many of you at community meetings in your neighborhoods. I've heard the feedback, the suggestions, the concerns. Earlier this month, at a community meeting in Ward 5, a neighbor shared his very real concerns about what a tax increase would mean for him and others who live on a fixed income. Well, we listened. And tonight, I'm happy to share that in addition to doubling the tax exemption for our veterans, we're increasing the elderly exemption by 25%. Now, many of our seniors will not only avoid a tax increase, but they'll actually see a reduction in their tax bills. That constituent is here with us tonight. Mr. Wolfgang, I'm happy to share that your tax bill will be going down next year thanks to your feedback. In this budget, we have also dramatically lowered the tax rate for many apartments and multifamily buildings because we know that Providence renters have faced some of the sharpest rent increases in the country. And to support our neighborhood businesses, the local restaurants and bodegas that are the backbone of our community, we have lowered their tax rate to the lowest it has been since 2009. From a comprehensive review of fines and fees across the city, exploring every revenue option and responsible cuts to spending, we have worked hard to get here to reduce the burden on our residents. And though we had to make difficult decisions this year, I remain hopeful and confident for our future. I'm excited to announce that this budget does propose 3 new initiatives in the coming year that'll make it better for us to continue to improve the services that we offer to residents and businesses. For businesses, we're creating a multi-department, one-stop business center that positions all the supports and services a small business needs in one central location. For residents, we're establishing a singular city services hub for the most requested city services right here in City Hall. And to further support the construction of new housing, we will be establishing a singular location for all permitting and infrastructure requests. So while I know that many of us are feeling exhausted and let down by the federal government, I am deeply committed to proving that here in Providence, local government can still be a tremendous catalyst to meaningfully and directly improve the lives of our neighbors, businesses, family, and friends. Amid the chaotic, hate-filled headlines that come from Washington every day, I want to reassure our neighbors that Providence is and will remain the safe, inclusive, and welcoming city it is known to be. Our values have not changed, and they will not change. Now, more than ever, it is incumbent on local government, all of us here, to lead with compassion, competence, and dedication to responsibly protect and improve the lives of our neighbors. Today, Providence is more sustainable, more vibrant, safe, and better positioned for responsible growth than it has been in decades. Despite the difficult cuts we had to make, my budget tonight continues to fund the resources that our community relies on. And it proposes new physical and structural changes to multiple departments to continue our transformation for how we deliver city services. By staying focused on the issues that have a direct impact on the lives of our community members, we are building a more effective and better run city, and we will continue to elevate Providence's national status as a premier destination to visit, work, and call home. The road ahead will not be easy. But with this budget, we're making thoughtful, responsible, and compassionate decisions to look out for our neighbors and prove that government can still be a force for positive, meaningful change. Thank you.
Majority Leader.
Madam President,
Majority Leader.
wishes to suspend the Rule 16B of the Rules of the City Council in order to take on a matter not appearing on the printed docket.
Second, Madam President.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes. Oh, I'm sorry. And Madam Clerk, please note that Councilman Reyes is present.
So noted.
Madam President,
Majority Leader.
wishes to waive the reading of item 4 through 8.
Second, Madam President.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes.
Madam President,
I'm sorry, Majority Leader. Madam Clerk, please refer items 4 through 8 to the Committee on Finance.
So noted.
Madam President, motion to adjourn.
Second, Madam President.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.